Good morning everybody. So today I'm going to be doing something a little different on my channel, and I'm going to actually be recording something completely unscripted. So let's see how well this goes across, because talking off the top of my head sometimes is a little bit of a chore for me, but let's see. So this little Trinitron right here, this is a KV-1221R. I recently got this gifted to me from my good friend Wyatt. Wyatt, if you're watching this, thank you so much for this. And I thought, instead of doing just like one of my usual CRT spotlights and everything, for this particular set, being that there is some definite, it's worse for wear right now, so there's definitely a lot of different, just like dirt and grime and stuff on here. So I thought for this video I'm going to show you guys how I particularly like to clean my CRTs and the different just like different cleaning products and stuff that I use, what I found works good, and just in general what gets the good results that I like. And while I'm at it too, because being that I've been producing videos on this channel since September. I think September 1st is when I first got right back into this and everything. And I kind of wanted to just talk about how things are going on my channel and everything. And being that I'm recording this, it's December 26th, and we're getting towards the very end of the year. I thought it'd be cool to just give you a heads up on what to expect in the future for my channel and everything. So I figure I'll clean this and we can have a little chat and whatnot. So before I do start chatting about everything, I will give you guys a brief overview of just like the different stuff that I like to use for cleaning. There's I described there's like two tiers of cleaning supplies that I use. There's like stuff for basic cleaning. By the way, if you hear my HVAC system, because right behind this wall, kind of like on the left side of the CRT rack, right behind that wall is where the HVAC unit is. It's, last I checked, it's 14 degrees outside here in Connecticut. So if you hear it clunking on and off every now and again, I'm not turning it off. I need to be toasty for this, especially for how big these windows are over here. But where was I? Yeah, so there are two different kind of like tiers of cleaning supplies that I like to use for just spiffying up not just CRTs, but really like any like electronic gizmos, anything that's in kind of like a plastic shell, or plastic or metal, has glass on it and whatnot. The basic level stuff that I like to use is microfiber cloth. This stuff right here, depending on which camera that I use to show it off. So it's a spray away aerosol glass cleaner. And this stuff, it's a little bit different than, say, like Windex or any of the stuff that you get in the spray bottles like that. I like how this stuff foams up. It's pretty dang good at cleaning plastics and everything. It doesn't leave pretty much any residue at all. Sometimes you get with certain types of formulas of Windex, you get kind of that streaking as it evaporates away. But this stuff is really, really good. Ordinarily, I don't like to really recommend aerosols just for their environmental components in it. But I know for this, like reading the ingredients on the back of it, the primary propellant that's in this is propane. So it's not as much of an ozone killer as some of the other aerosols out there. So I feel a little bit better using it versus some of the other things on the market. But this stuff works fantastic, and in combination with just your average toothbrush like this, and just get like a little bit of scrubbing action in there, wonderful. Then, if I have to bring out the big guns, tea break. My big guns are Simple Green Magic Eraser. Now, I love Simple Green. This is like I use this in the kitchen, in the bathroom. First job at a high school was in a produce department at a grocery store, and I used this as it was like one of the few cleaners that was like non-toxic and safe to use on a lot of the, you know how if you go to the produce department and they have all the apples and bananas and yeah, all the produce items on like the metal like the exposed cooler racks. They have the refrigerant coming from behind the rack and just keeps everything cool and whatnot. This is one of the few cleaners that we had that was totally non-toxic, safe to use around produce and everything. It was great for getting a lot of those metal racks. They would get just like not really moldy, but just like the mildew from like the cold, humid air that would circulate through them. This stuff's fantastic for that, and it's fantastic for sometimes there's some like dirt and grime that's a little too tough to use the glass cleaner on. This stuff is fantastic. And then magic erasers. I don't use these all the time. I know some of you might be cringing a little bit when I'm saying, oh, use magic eraser on stuff like this. There's certain situations where it's good and others where it is dangerous, because these are actually mildly abrasive. Think of it as like an insanely high grit sandpaper. So depending on what you use, especially if it's like a gloss plastic or anything where there's like a printed on decal, these are dangerous, because on that gloss plastic you're gonna see, after you scrub it and everything, you're gonna see swirl marks on there. And then for like decals themselves, so kind of like this where it says Trinitron on this television here, it's just like a pad printed text. If I were to use this on there and put like any bit of effort into it, it will remove that text. So like I said, these are the big guns. These are okay, this is not coming off with the previous stuff I showed you. I'm going to break these out to really get cleaning, but I use a little bit of caution when using them, and then especially like around electronics too and whatnot. But all right, so yeah, let's get to cleaning this. I took some B-roll before I set up these cameras to record this, but my primary focus is right here on the front with the channel selector, because there's definitely like a lot of dirt and gunk behind these numbers right here for the different channels that you're able to tune into. And particularly around these front three buttons right here, we got power and volume up and down. You can, this thing was definitely used. You can see the, just like the ring of finger gunk around the text itself. And actually, I might not be able to save where it says power on the front of there, or at least I'm going to have to be pretty careful, because already a lot of the text is kind of rubbed off on there. The E and the R at the end. The R in particularly is almost completely gone. But what can you do? This is just the condition I got it in and whatnot. So yeah, usually give it a nice little shake. Oh, and by the way, because I'll have to see, I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I'm actually using 3 different devices right now for audio. I have no idea what is going to have the best results for audio, but I have the Zoom microphone that I usually record my the usual scripted scripts for my videos. I have it on my rack over there, but then the 2 other cameras that I'm using are also recording audio. So actually, I should also talk about just like what I use, right? So for the bulk of my videos so far, I've only recorded video on just one device, and it's just my cell phone. I have a Google Pixel 6, which Pixels, they have great cameras. I love the camera on mine, and yeah, all of the footage up until this video, and there was one single shot in my previous video that was filmed on a different camera that I just picked up, and it is the overhead camera right now, which I have. If you see how ridiculously I have this jutting off of the TV rack, it is a DJI Pocket 3 that I picked up. It was on sale at Costco for like $4.29 or something. It came with, you know how Costco always bundles a whole bunch of their accessories together with their stuff, and I was like, yeah, that looks cool. So pick that up. I'm still learning how to use it because it's got a kind of learning curve to it. Most cameras are like that, but it's definitely not just like a pull out of the box and immediately start using kind of thing. But yeah, so two cameras are set up right now and sound over there. When I do the mix later on, I'll see what sounds the best. Hopefully it's not too... This room's only, what is it, 12 by 10 or something like that? And with all the amount of crap that I have in here, it's hopefully not terribly echoey for you guys. But and oh, and whenever I get to cut to that camera up there, you get to see Daisy. Look at her. She's doing her thing. my co-host, if you will. And some tea. Yeah, I don't... I know I've gotten some comments about it's like, oh, why are you including your cat? Just talk about the stuff that we're using, or the stuff that you're featuring. But I don't know. She's always in this room when I'm doing this. She likes company, not necessarily. She is a lap cat where she'll definitely want to just like hang out on top of you, just sit on your lap sometimes. But then she'll get restless and get up, go get a snack or something like that, do her own thing. But yeah, ever since, because I usually keep a heated blanket over on that chair, she loves it. There's some bushes outside of the window that attract a ton of birds in there, so that's her bird watching spot. And yeah, when I have a day where I'm at home alone, she'll just camp out on that chair for a long amount of time during the day. So actually, for the last couple... I almost took a drink out of the glass cleaner. Oh, man. For the last couple videos that I filmed in this room, like, she spent the entire time just chilling on her chair over there. But yeah, so yeah, I picked up... Oh, so before I start talking about the next bit right here, so I took a little bit of the spray glass cleaner, just kind of let it foam up a little bit, let it eat away at some of the surface finger gunk that accumulates on the buttons, and then just using a toothbrush, give it a nice scrub. This thing hasn't been plugged in for a while, so I'm not terribly afraid of any of the liquid in here causing issues with any of the buttons that are underneath it. I'm going to leave enough time between when I sprayed this stuff on here, and so it can evaporate before I plug it in, and don't want to fry old electronics here. And I gotta figure out how to get these number selectors out as well. I don't want to damage this thing. So where am I gonna find replacement ones of these? But anyway, so yeah, for the few of you who've I've kind of built an audience up with, thank you so much for come along with me on this little journey. I used to do a lot of video editing back in the day. I was in the film class of my high school for like 2 years and whatnot. I always loved doing this kind of stuff, just making content, but for a few different reasons I just never really took off with it. Kind of like made a career with it. I wish I had. I'm 31 now. If I had known the stuff that I know now, I probably could have made something of this at the time, but hindsight's 20/20 really. But honestly, I'm just kind of glad to be doing this as a hobby, really. I have a lot, I mean, obviously you can see a lot of the stuff that resides in the background of a lot of different shots of my videos that I make. And I've always had fun sharing the different things that I've acquired over the years, both with friends, and I have two jobs. The part-time one that I do is I just work like 1 day a week at a local video game store around me, But then I have a lot of friends that are at other like stores in the area, or just that I've met through, yeah, just like met through like different things and events and whatnot in just my general area. And everyone's just been like, "Oh, your stuff is so cool. Why don't you like make videos on it? Why don't you make videos on it?" I always said, "Oh, yeah, eventually, yeah, eventually, yeah, eventually." But then it was with the past over the summer, last August, there was a Retro World Expo located at the convention center here in Hartford, Connecticut. Some of you who were there, you might have remembered the big wall of tube TVs that was located kind of across. It was like between like the wrestling arena and the space where they had a bunch of like the auction stage, and they had a couple of the live like the Press Your Luck game that was going on over there. There was a big stage that had a bunch of tube televisions on display over there. That was me. That was, you might be able to recognize some of those tubes from the CRT wall that I have in my game room here. But yeah, that was absolutely me during that. And just meeting some of the people who coming around, and they just kept asking me, "Oh, what do you have for socials? What do you do for all these? Do you document all this stuff here?" And I kept telling them, "No, I don't really have anything." But the amount of encouragement I got from people to just start making videos, I was like, you know what, I gotta I gotta get to filming. So pardon me again, I have asthma, so, and especially occasionally when the air gets cold and dry like this, I'm always hacking the lung up. But anyway, so yeah, that was when I went home and I filmed the first new video on my channel, which was just like a general tour of all the stuff that I had. And then I started focusing on like doing individual reviews of different items that I had and whatnot. And I've just been blown away by the responses I've gotten from a lot of people in regards to just the content I've been creating. Just the fact that it's like a lot of my videos have been hitting like over 10,000 views. I've been pleasantly surprised for how small my channel is. And so, yeah, that brings us to today, where I actually have some pretty decent projects. Here goes my rambling, that I've planned for the new year. And I've hinted at a few of them in a couple different videos on my channel. I know, like, one I definitely want to do, I mentioned it a bit in my video on my Buick Riata, but because I have two classic cars. I have the Buick, and then I also have my same year, a 1988 Cadillac Brougham. I've had that much longer than the Buick. I'm going on 7 years, I believe. And yeah, that one I definitely want to make a video on. That video is probably not going to happen until the spring, partly because it's freezing cold out there. I hate filming videos in the cold. I actually did a little bit of location shooting yesterday for another video that I'm working on, and I was only outdoors for maybe like 10 minutes or so, and it's like already my fingers were just in agony. I love the cold too, but nah, just it's hard filming videos out in weather like this. And then also too, because I don't like a backdrop of all like white and brown, like how it looks right now. With there's no leaves on the trees, everything that's not covered in snow is just like that dead brown color that you get from stuff over the winter time. Yeah, I don't think it makes for a good looking video, so I'm gonna wait until the spring, like when everything starts to be in bloom. That's when I'm gonna do the video on the Cadillac. But yeah, I think you guys are gonna like it. I've had that Cadillac, again, for like 7 years now. I love it. I actually love it more than my Buick. I would much rather, if I had to go down to just one car, I'm definitely keeping the Cadillac over the Buick, and I'll explain my reasoning in that video. But yeah, that's a project that I have in the pipeline. Obviously, I'm gonna still be doing CRT Spotlight. I have to get through all this collection. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing just like Spotlight videos. Usually, like every other or every second or third video, I'll do like a Spotlight video. And then I just have some plans for just like other stuff too, and that's why I named. I'm spraying cleaning supplies around my my tea. It's gonna start tasting like glass cleaner. Put that on the desk behind me. But yeah, that's why I named my channel Steve's Assorted Stuff, because, I mean, obviously I'm a collector of CRTs, but that's not my primary focus. I want to be able to really just cover all the different nonsense that I have. Like, I have a lot of passions for a lot of different things, old technology in general, but for just like other interesting oddities as well. And I just, building my channel here, I always wanted to just focus on documenting just like the different things that I have. And I'd like, where I want to see my video production to go to, I want to be able to make an interesting video on pretty much anything. I take a lot of inspiration from, I follow Adam Savage of Mythbusters fame, his channel Tested on YouTube, where he often will bring up one of his favorite myths that him and Jamie did on the show, where it was lead balloon. And he would always talk about how it really proved to him that they can make a episode on anything. It didn't have to include any explosions, any ridiculousness whatsoever, but really just a topic that really doesn't have any visual pizzazz whatsoever, but just interesting enough where you're just completely captivated watching it. And I recently rewatched that episode too, and he's completely right, where it's just something that you want to, it absorbs you in, and that's kind of what I want to be able to produce as well, where it could be about a television, it can be about a piece of AV equipment, it can be about a toy I grew up with, it could be about a telephone, it could be about a lamp, it could be about a light bulb, it can be about any of the just stuff around me that brings me passion and joy. And I'd like to be able to just produce videos where it's stuff that, as you guys are tuning in to watch, and it could be about literally anything, but just, I want my presentation to be, okay, that's pretty interesting. Oh, wow, I never thought of that before. I also take inspiration from one of my favorite YouTubers, and I know like a lot of people like Alec of Technology Connections. Just the fact that he made a video on a can opener, and it got like 1 million views and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, that is the same kind of goal that I'm going for. He produces just incredible, some of his in-depth series on like the RCA CED, and the recent one that he did on like electromechanical pinball machines and everything. Just fantastic in-depth stuff, but at the same time can do just as well with a video on the most simplest, ridiculous thing, like a can opener or the inside of a light switch or things like that. And that's the same kind of scope that I want to feature on my channel. Just some videos, yeah, I'll dive deep in the weeds on this is what this particular CRT has to offer, and this is like heavy model numbers and very dense information and whatnot, and then just do something on some random nonsense that I own. And yeah, hopefully both of those types of videos would be of interest to you guys. And so yeah, and just from the responses I've got from the videos so far that I've done that kind of have this kind of broad reach, I've been very, very surprised by everything, really. And there's one thing I did want to talk about as I grow my channel, and just like kind of how I kind of establish my brand and how I present everything. First off, and I'm probably not even going to mix it into this video here, this one of the things I really debated about when I first started making videos is whether or not I'd be having background music at all. I know a lot of YouTubers will do background music just to make it a little bit more interesting, but I did do two or three. There was the CRT tour, the one with the Milton Bradley Electronic Grandmaster chess set, and was that it? I think that was it. There was only like two videos that I had music running in the background, but then first off, I hate setting up music and editing it so it loops good and everything and just sounds good. But at the same time, I started thinking, you know, a lot of my content is very information dense. I'm often talking nonstop about something, and also as a Connecticut native, I mumble and I talk fast, so I don't want my voice competing with music, and I think it comes across better if I don't have backing music with my videos. If you share these thoughts, and if you think, yeah, thank you for not having background music and whatnot, please let me know in the comments and everything. But yeah, that was always something I kind of debated when I first started up my channel, whether or not I would be doing background music or not. I kind of like not having background music. There's some channels that do work really well with it, but there's also other channels which I think background music is kind of a hindrance, and I think that would apply to me as well. But yeah, again, just let me know. Definitely, if there's any video where I'm looking for just like what your input is on the content that I'm creating, this is the one. This is why I'm having this, albeit one-sided conversation with you guys. But yeah, and that also brings up another aspect of YouTube that I did. I've talked in the comments briefly with a couple of you guys before about this, but it's all, there goes my HVAC. It's all about monetization, sponsorship, and everything, and I am not going to do that on my channel. First off, I don't think my production schedule is enough to really warrant doing that all that much. Now, when I start this section here, when I talk about sponsors, I want to preface this by saying I absolutely do not mean to throw any shade at content creators that have sponsors that help with their channel. I completely get it, especially for those content creators where this is their full-time job and they need to be able to keep the lights on, really. I've heard so many stories about how occasionally difficult it is to work with YouTube and their monetization practices. So to have a sponsor that helps with every video and just requires a simple ad read in the middle of it, I completely get it, really. And there's some content creators that I watch that are really good with sponsors and everything. One particular one, Robert of Aging Wheels. If you want to see a good ad read, watch any of his videos, because every single sponsor section of his videos, that guy can make some really, really good and funny ad reads and everything. But on the flip side, there are a few channels where I watch where sometimes the ad read is a little, I don't know, forced. Like, you can tell that the person who's making the video absolutely does not use the product whatsoever. And I've even, because with some of the success that I've had on my channel, I've even gotten some emails already from different sponsors, like people who are saying, hey, check out this computer desk and everything. We'll send it to you if you talk about it in your video. I appreciate the offer tremendously, especially for how small my channel is, but it's not for me. You see, if I were to peddle something, I need to be personally invested in it. I need to have personal interest in it. And that's the whole reason why I make these videos, because everything that I feature on my channel is something that I have a personal passion about. So if I were to either have a sponsor about a product or a service that I don't feel passion for, I can't really I can't do a presentation on that at all. I am sorry. So in the future, if there's something that does come along that maybe of something of genuine interest to me, I don't know. I'd have to see what the item is. But in the meantime, you're never going to get an ad read from me. It's just not in my character to do that. And the other thing I'm not going to do on my channel, and this is really the only time I'm going to say this, is it's a personal gripe of mine, just like the begging for likes and subscribes and everything. Again, I totally get it because it's kind of how the algorithm on YouTube supposedly works. It's such a mystery how that whole process kind of functions on this website, but I totally get again why creators will ask, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and whatnot. But this video is the only time you'll ever hear me say these words. I kind of like just growing my channel naturally. I really like the natural growth my channel has had over the past, I don't know, what, 6 months or so? And I kind of view it as a kind of a challenge. Like, I'm going to earn my subscribers just by producing good content. I don't want to kind of like egg them on saying, oh, please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe. No, you won't hear that from me. I appreciate every single one of you that does subscribe and everything, but I want you to be able to make the decision, hey, this guy is putting out some good content. I want to see more of it. And so I'm going to hit the subscribe button. And really, that's that's my goal. Like, I want the content to speak for itself and everything, and I want to earn your subscription naturally, not just through pandering to you saying, please subscribe. So, yep, that is the only time you'll hear me say, please subscribe. Hit that like button, smash that notification bell, blah, 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 blah. It always bugs me. And again, there's content creators that I watch that do it every video, and I totally get it. I'm not dissing on you at all, but just for me, it doesn't feel genuine. Genuineness is me earning your subscription just by producing good content and making you want more. Hopefully this is good content, because I've just been rambling this entire time. But, yeah. So this thing's pretty clean now. There's a little... I didn't notice this until later on. Oh, there's still some little schmutz right there. But it turns out around the power button right here, that's actually... It's not finger grime on there. It's actually worn off a little bit of this translucent layer on top of it. And... Ooh, picture controls. I apologize for occasionally doing one of those. Again, I'm asthmatic. Oh, you should see her. You should really hear what I cut out of my videos half the time, just from... Oh, the most difficult part for me is recording the voiceover. I am not a one-take pony. I sometimes will record a paragraph like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times over, just because I'm either tripping over my words or hacking a lung up, and I'm not good. But I'm getting better, and this is some practice. So, but yeah, alright, so this television is pretty well clean now. It's definitely a lot better than it was before. let's fire it up and actually show you how it looks. I've played with it a little bit at my friend Wyatt's house. Also, I apologize if I'm way off in the background right now. Let's see, we'll use an NES for this. Jump cut. I should have my NES ready to go before I set it up for filming this video, because I doubted you'd find it pretty interesting watching me screw this thing into this thing, but whatever. Anyway, let's power on this Trinitron and see how it works, and but live this time. And this thing's kind of weird how it's routing its power through it and everything. My buddy Wyatt that I got this from described it best, where it's kind of like a fat model PS2, where you have the power button on the front of it, but then there's also like a master power supply that's located on the back of a PS2, but in this case on the top up here, where you got to turn that on first, and then you can turn the TV on. Alright. Lower that volume a little bit. Get rid of that snow. Actually, is this thing... Let's see if my Sony remote actually works with it, because it supposedly could take a remote signal. Oh my goodness. Power. No! Is this like an actual Sony television that doesn't accept input from a Sony remote? That's ridiculous. But anyway, hey, first time. So this is just RF, but this is a pretty nice RF. It's got one of the lighter phosphor coatings on the screen, so pitch black like this looks a little, with the amount of light that I have in this room, it's a little blown out, but for just an RF image, this is solid. This is really enjoyable. I love Galaga. I gotta go up to Fun Spot again. Hopefully in the coming weeks I'll be able to go up with some friends, and because this time I'm not going to be focused on getting footage for a video that I want to film, I can actually enjoy stuff. But yeah, gets the job done. Maybe I'll do a video in the future on this little thing. Gotta get that double. Gotta get that double. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. How long is it gonna take? There we go. But we work. Hooray. So, if you managed to last this long in my rambling nonsense, thank you. Yeah, hopefully this bit of unscripted stuff on Steve's Assorted Stuff was just as interesting as my scripted stuff, because, oh boy, can I ramble. But, yeah, I want to thank every single one of you for joining me on this channel, not just on this long-winded rambling video. I'm just checking my time right now, and it's been 53 minutes. I'm definitely going to edit this down a little bit, but I thank you all for just showing an interest in the same kind of nonsense that I show interest in, and hopefully just the content that I've been creating so far for you guys has just proven to be interesting for you. And again, I got more projects that are in the pipeline. The other thing I want to do, I would like to get a couple of my friends involved, and I might be doing kind of like a Let's Play, but it'll just be like me and a friend will just be focusing on one particular video game. We're just going to sit down together and play through it, with the little bit of a twist where I know like now everyone has their like modern capture cards and everything that can show stuff in like real high quality, but I think for mine, I'm going to just film a CRT in camera. If you really want to see something pixel perfect, there's so many other people out there that have that option, but I think it'd be pretty interesting just to kind of see how we're viewing the television, or at least as good as I can get it on camera, because again, CRTs are pain in the neck to film. But yeah, I think I might have a couple friends on in the future, and we'll just sit down and play through a game that we really like together. And yeah, hopefully we'd be able to also entertain you through that means as well, on top of the normal scripted nonsense that I'm producing. But yeah, apart from that and the couple other projects that I have in the pipeline, yeah, expect more of the same, and hopefully a lot more just expansion of the different kind of things that I can feature here on Steve's Assorted Stuff. And once again, thank you all for indulging me on this silly little hobby of mine or whatnot. It feels so good to be back into video production again after many, many years of kind of being out of the hobby and rusty about it and whatnot. So it feels so good being able to just stretch my creative muscle creating this kind of content for you guys. But yeah, I hope every one of you has a good rest of your 2024. The next year is just around the corner in a couple days as of filming this video at least. And hopefully 2025 brings you so much more, and I hope to do the same for you as well. But thank you so much for joining me here on Steve's Assorted Stuff, and until we meet next time, have a good day, everybody.